Hi, everybody. My name is Jessi Gurr. I am an agency owner in downtown Anoka, and I'm super excited to be part of this year's Business Done Better Summit. Little disclaimer, this is actually the very first talk that I've ever given in a fully virtual format or pre-recorded. I'm super used to the audience feedback loop, so let's hope this goes well. I do want to say that I absolutely love engaging with business owners, sharing stories, and just learning. So if you have questions, more than welcome to reach out to me at the end of this talk. And I look forward to the Q&A session as well. So I'm going to go ahead and shrink my face down into a little bubble on this side of the screen so you can see the content. So about me, I am an entrepreneur. I own an agency downtown Anoka. As I said, I love to speak. I travel to give talks. I work one-on-one with agency owners, mostly in the WordPress and website development sector on business growth. I am an avid traveler. I have goals to travel the world with my children, and I've taken quite a few trips with them already. My kids and I eat a vegan diet, and recently I've started running. I'm not sure where that new hobby came from, but I finished a half marathon last month and I'm looking forward to a marathon this coming January. So if you need a running buddy, I might not be your right fit, but I try. You can find me online. My website addresses are there, and I will have some links at the end of this presentation to download resources specific to what I'm going to talk about today. One of the things that we do at my agency is discover and work on our strengths. And so I like to include my Clifton strengths when I am meeting people, especially in a professional setting. So the things that are at the top of the list for me: competition, communication, significance, assurance, and activator. Those all fall under the influencing domains. And I really like to help people succeed and move things along. So here are my children that I talked about. Cedar is my 9-year-old. That is a photo of the two of us at the Grand Canyon in May. And then River is 7, and he is doing his favorite thing, which is going as high as he possibly can on the playground and trying not to break any bones. So what I'm going to talk about today, yes, I am an agency owner, but I strongly believe that you should talk about what you are most passionate about, and that is where you're going to be able to lend the most value to your audience. And so my passion is really business growth, and we have been working very hard on business growth at my agency over the past couple of years, and I owe a lot of it thanks to a system called Traction. And so we're going to talk about that today. I'm not going to go fully in depth to us with this, but this is where I lead business owners that I'm working with on their business growth journey. And so the title of my talk today: Implementing a Business Growth Structure That Works. So if you've been in business, and I assume most of you are business owners or play some sort of an executive role in your company, you've probably been to a lot of talks or you've read a lot of things about getting instant success overnight or trying to 10x your business or maybe making changes that create incredibly rapid business growth. This is not that talk. While rapid business growth can be good for some businesses, I'm not going to tell you how to get rich quick or how to implement or 10x your business overnight. My goal is to help you implement a growth structure that works for your business and for you. And what I'm going to talk about, the pieces are pulled greatly from this book, Traction by Gino Wickman. I highly recommend you read it. We are using this structure in my agency, and it is what I like to reference. I reference this quite frequently. I kind of take my own personal spin on the system, and I'm going to go through a few parts of that today. And so, as you grow your business, the first thing you need to think about before you start your growth journey is what is important to you. A successful business owner isn't just going to create growth and stability in their career, but they prioritize and they take time to focus on what's most important to them. Without your family, without your health, without your sanity, your business doesn't stand a chance. And so while business growth is essential for everyone who is in business, you need to think about what's important to you. And we're going to get into that a little bit in the values section. And so my goal today is to give you a reliable growth plan that doesn't add more stress to your life. Since I've been working with this template, we have seen moderate growth, about 25% year over year over year. And just by using this template, we've been able to become to expect a 25% growth rate year over year. And I feel like that's super manageable. It doesn't add extra hours to my week where I'm trying to keep up with a sudden 100% increase in sales. So what we're going to go over today are the 6 components of your business. Now, this is what Gino Wickman really outlines in his book. And I'm going to dive really deep into only a few of these today. I'll cover all 6 to give you kind of the broad overview. And it took me about 9 months to fully implement this system into my business. So this is not something that I expect anybody to be able to do overnight. You should walk away from here with a couple of resources that you can take back and implement, over the next month, over the next 2 months, over the next 3 months. Any small step that you take towards creating systems and processes and continuity in your business is going to lead towards business growth. So the 3 that I feel are the most important, if you're going to just pick and choose from this, are the vision, the people, and the data components. And I'm going to take a little bit deeper dive into each of these in this talk. So my goal when we're done with this is to leave you with a working business plan that you can reference and you can use it to set and meet your business goals year after year. I'm going to help you leave with the right data, a business scorecard, a template for a scorecard that you can use to hit your target numbers every week. And also, we're going to look at having the right people in the right seats. How do we find employees that are going to fit with your business, with your core values, and make sure that they stick around for the long term? So the first part that we're going to cover is your vision in your business. And like I said earlier, what is important to you? The vision component of traction is your first step in business growth. With this, you're going to define your core values. What is important to you? Your purpose or your mission. Why are you in business in the first place? Your niche. Who exactly is it that you're trying to solve or help, and what exactly is it that you do? Your target market. Can you define your customer clearly? And short and long-term goals for your business. And the goals part is where we're going to break it down and we're going to have a whole clearly defined vision laid out in a nice business plan. So your business, your mission, and your values and your purpose are critical components to growth in your business. Without these, you can't really address all of the rest of the pieces. And you'll see as we move through and talk about the people component or the data component or the traction component, the issues component, everything ties right back to your vision and your mission. So the first step in creating a working business plan or a business growth plan is to define your core values. What is important to you as a business owner? What is important to you in your company? And what values do you want to convey to your team? And do you want your team to convey to your customers? Ask for input from your team if you want to. When we set our core values, we actually used a whole day to do a brainstorming session with our team. We passed around a list of different values. We asked people to highlight ones that rang true to them, and then we just talked about it. Why do you feel strongly about teamwork? Why do you feel strongly about work-life balance? Why do you feel strongly about passion? And from that, our leadership team, which I'll talk about a little bit more later, sat down and really kind of looked at what everybody in the company felt. We took a really close look at what I felt as the business owner, and we developed 4 core values that are essential to every single part of our business. We reference our core values daily in our company. When we have quarterly meetings, the core values are the very first thing that we have highlighted at our meeting. And so you're going to use these values when you're setting growth goals, hiring and firing employees. Do your employees live up to your core values? And when you're working with your customers, anytime you run into a sticky situation, as you know we all do in business, you can fall back on your core values to help guide your way. Your purpose and your mission. Exactly why are you in business? What is the point even of having customers or employees? Your purpose and mission should be used to inspire your employees, to inspire your customers, to make people want to work with you. Our purpose at my agency is to create a company where people love to come to work. So, anytime that I'm making decisions about new employees, anytime I'm making decisions about new products, anytime I'm making marketing decisions, I go right back to that purpose. Are we continuing to foster an environment where people love to go to work? If we are, then, moving forward with that new change is the right thing to do. So spend some time thinking about this. Again, this is a great group activity. It's a great way to pull in all of the members of your team, especially those ones that you trust, and get their input. What did they see for you? Why are they working for you? Why do they care about your company? And you're going to use your vision and your mission to set goals for growth. The niche is part of your mission, your vision, your values. Who is your current customer and what do you do for them? You can create a specific marketing list to qualify and disqualify leads very quickly using your niche. And part of your niche also includes your unique selling proposition. So this is a phrase sometimes called unique value proposition. What makes you different? We're going to define three things that set yourself apart from your competition. So, maybe you're a chiropractor. What are three things that you do differently? Or three things that make people keep coming back to you? Do you provide gentle service? Do you have easy appointment booking? Maybe you are relatable. Maybe you're personable. What are the things that people are continually coming back to buy from you? And this, again, is all going to be part of your growth and vision. So now that we've defined who you are, what you care about, who you serve, and why you're in business, we can start to create goals. And I like to start by looking at the long term. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? What do you want to accomplish? You're going to create that big, hairy, audacious goal. This is a term that's talked about in a lot of business growth books. It is a stretch goal. It's something that you see for your future that is just a little bit out of reach. You don't want to make it too easy. I mean, maybe your 10-year goal is to be a $1 million company. Maybe your 10-year goal is to provide 3 weeks of vacation time for all of your staff. Maybe your 10-year goal is to implement a 4-day work week. Whatever is important to you, where you see yourself in 10 years, we're going to use that kind of as your template to break down your growth into 3-year and 1-year and quarterly manageable chunks. So make sure that it's realistic. I mean, if your 10-year goal is to, be the headliner in a Super Bowl commercial, that was one of the ideas that was kicked up when we were setting our goals, actually. It maybe not super attainable. I don't know, or maybe that is something that you're really looking forward to. But if it's something that's just way out there in left field that you're never going to be able to attain, it may not be the best thing. You want to create a goal that you're going to be able to reach and strive towards. And so, how are you going to get there, right? So, what needs to happen in 3 years so that you're a third of the way towards your 10-year goal? And then you break that down. What needs to happen in 1 year that will move you toward your 3-year goal? And so all of these things together, your core values, your purpose, your mission, your niche and your target market, your unique selling proposition, your 10-year goal, your big, hairy, audacious goal, your 3-year goal, and your 1-year goal are going to go into what I call a working business plan. So now this is not just your typical business plan that you maybe had to create when you went into business. No, this is a 2-page document that you reference every week, every quarter, every year as you grow. And you're gonna modify this as you continue to move toward your 10-year goal, because your 3-year goal is going to change in a year. And so how do we get there, right? So part of your business plan, after we've listed out all of your purpose, your goals, we're going to look at what's stopping you. What is standing in your way from hitting that 10-year target? You want to have 4-day work weeks? Why can't you get there? Do you need to have your storefront open 5 days a week? Do you need to, have someone answering the phone? So what are your current issues preventing you from getting in the way from meeting that 10-year goal? And then as we kind of break down your target and your goals for the year and the quarter, we're going to look at how to set goals for each quarter. So I do have a download, a template for this working business plan. There's a link here on the slide. I think it should be circulated via email as well. But the working plan is going to just look something like this, very straightforward. We've just got a table that you can fill in with your core values, your purpose, your mission, your unique selling proposition, who you're marketing, and then you've got your 10-year goal. You're going to break that down to get your 3-year goal, your 1-year goal, and then into your quarterly goal. All right, so now that we have our working business plan, we need to figure out who's going to help you get there. I mean, you could go it alone, or you could get some help. And so the next component that I'm going to talk about in this business growth strategy is your people. You need to find the right people to help you reach your business goals. We're going to go over creating a leadership team. We're going to go over the organization chart. We're going to talk about what it means to have the right people in the right seats. And we're going to talk about addressing people issues fast. So when I started on this business growth plan that I'm outlining today, my company was me with 9 employees reporting directly to me. That meant that the customer service person who answered the phones came to me anytime a customer had a problem. That meant that our content writer came to me every time she didn't know how to spell a word or how to correctly phrase a market statement for one of our customers. That meant that my developers were coming to me when they couldn't figure out how to solve a coding conflict. That meant that my sales team was coming to me every time they were having issues closing a sale. And that is a recipe for instant owner burnout. And it took me probably 3 years to realize that it was time to make some serious changes and enter the organization chart. So I started putting an organization chart together by pulling 3 people who I trusted out and created a leadership team. So now these 3 people already had different roles in the business. So one of them was in sales, one of them was in production, and one of them was more in office management, business managerial type. And so we formed a 3-person leadership team. And these are the people that are helping us realize our goals. So no matter what size your business is, you're probably going to need help, and you're going to need a team in charge to lead you towards your goals, and also to hold your business accountable to its culture and its core values. You're going to need people to help you reference your working business plan and make sure that you're moving in the right direction. Sometimes putting this leadership team in place before you do your working plan can be beneficial. We actually did it kind of the backwards way. We had part of our core values that we did as a team, and then I pulled together my leadership team and I worked with them very closely to finalize that working business plan that I mentioned. Otherwise, another option would be that you can sit down and put together your working business template first, and then find the people in your company that best represent your core values and your mission that can help you get to where you're going to go. Now, how big does a leadership team have to be? There's no right size. However, I definitely recommend that you have no more than 3 to 5 people reporting directly to you. So when I put my leadership team in place, I picked 3 people to join my leadership team. And that took the number of direct reports that I had instantly from 9 to 3. So now we've got our sales having everybody in the sales area, which is, customer service, answering the phones, writing proposals, all of those people are going to my sales leadership employee. And now we have our production leadership member and everybody who works in production, everybody who's writing content, everybody who's building websites is reporting directly to the head of production. And then we have kind of our head of business operations. So anyone who is doing billing, anyone who's ordering office supplies or, postage is going to the head of business operations. And so we have now taken the responsibility off of the owner with 9, 10, 12, however many direct reports down to just 3. And that is a much more manageable number of employees to handle. And you're going to want to follow this down the tracks. So here's kind of what our leadership team looks like, what our full organization chart looks like. We've got kind of the branching, and I'll go back here. Again, 3 to 5 people directly reporting to you. And this organization chart is going to help people identify where they go when they have issues so that they're not always coming to you. And as your team grows, you're going to want to determine which people are in a management position versus which people are in a production position. And your production responsibilities are going to go down as your management responsibilities increase. And as I said, again, I recommend no more than 3 to 5 direct reports. So where we're sitting in our business right now, we have 5 people underneath our head of production. When we add another person to our production team, we're going to have to put someone else in a managerial position and restructure our organization chart so that Carrie, our head of production, doesn't have 6 people reporting directly to her. And that's just going to prevent owner burnout that I talked about before, but also you don't want your leadership team to burn out. You don't want your managers to burn out. You want people to stay with your business. It is far more expensive to continually search for and hire staff than it is to keep the ones that you have. And on that note, hiring people and keeping the staff that you have, take a close look at the people that you have in your business. The key to keeping employees is to make sure that you have the right people in the right seats. Every time we've had employee turnover at our company, it has been either because someone isn't the right fit, they don't align with our vision, they don't align with our culture, they don't align with our core values, or they're not in the right seat. They thought they were hired for something that they just aren't doing, or their job has changed so drastically since they got hired that they no longer enjoy doing what they're doing. And so this requires quite a bit of transparency, finding the right people. So check your values before you hire. When you're interviewing, make sure that you're asking those questions. How do you feel about our core values? Do you mesh with them? Tell me about your values. Did their values align with yours? Do they fit your culture? And we like to, as I said, the Strengths Finder assessment, we like to do some sort of a personality assessment prior to hiring. Not only does it kind of show us that a person is committed enough to actually, put some time into business development prior to getting the position, but it helps us see how they mesh with the team, and it helps us see where they are in their strengths. Interestingly, we are a creative agency and we work in tech, and everybody on our production team has a learner in their top 5 skills. Now, for an industry that is constantly changing, knowing that you're hiring people with an aptitude to learn can be super beneficial and can also help make sure that they stay engaged and that they're going to be able to grow with you as your companies grow. Making sure that they're in the right seat. So aside from just aligning with your culture and making sure they're going to be a good team fit, make sure that employees know right up front what their job is supposed to be. And this just starts with the job description. Make sure you're super clear in your job postings. Make sure you have very fleshed out job descriptions, job responsibilities, put key performance indicators right in there. And also, as you grow, have some checks and balances on your job descriptions. If you have someone who has been hired to answer the phones and then you've gotten so busy that you're asking them to start making widgets. And now that they're making widgets, you think that maybe they should start designing your marketing material so you can get more business. Like you've just taken that person from the job that they enjoyed doing, that they thought they were hired to, through three different iterations, and now they're doing something completely different. And most likely, they're already one foot out the door. Being transparent with your employees, if your business is growing, have one-on-ones with your staff. Show them their job description every year. When you do annual reviews, use their job description and ask them all the time what their goals are for the future. Do you like your job? Do you see yourself in this job in 3 years? If you don't see yourself in this job in 3 years, where do you see yourself? We have even had employees that are not excited about their job anymore, write themselves a new job description. And this job description may not fit with what we need done, but it's a really good indicator of where they're going and what they want to be doing. And as I said earlier, it's always cheaper to retain talent than it is to try to seek for new hires or replace the staff you already have. And so, pulling from the book Traction, the GWC test is something that we put our employees through every year at annual reviews, and then every year, as I sit down and do one-to-ones with them. So, the GWC stands for Get It, Want It, and Capacity. So, do they get it? Does everybody on your team understand what their job is? Do they get their job description? Do they want it? Do they want to do what they've been hired to do, or would they rather do something different? And do they have the capacity? Now, some jobs are technical and and require, very technical skills. Some jobs require soft skills. Do your employees have the skill set, the skills to do the jobs you're asking them to? And also, do they have the time to do their job? If you've moved someone, from a production role into a management role, but you're expecting them to turn around the same number of widgets every week, they're going to be really strapped for time. And you're going to have to sit down with them and, do some evaluation. Is their job description not right anymore? Do they not have the capacity? Where do we need to make adjustments? And finally, with your people, make sure that you are addressing issues quickly. The magic number here is 36 hours. If you have a performance issue, don't let it drag on. Make sure you address it within 3 business days. It is going to cost your business far more to keep an employee who already has one foot out the door or who is underperforming than it is going to just rip off the Band-Aid and put a performance improvement process in place. And a great thing now that we've developed our vision and our core values and we've written clear job descriptions is to go back and reference those when you're having employee issues. Hey, we noticed, that you're struggling with our culture. Let's revisit our core values. How do you feel about these? Do you think you still mesh with them? Maybe, one of our core values is teamwork, and we're finding you doing all of your projects independently. Do you still feel that teamwork is in line with what you expect? You can lean on those core values for everything. And you can lean on their job description too, especially if you've put in key performance indicators in there. Now, job descriptions, like your working business plan, can be works in progress. You should revisit them every year, especially during your annual review time, and you should modify them every year. Businesses grow, jobs change, you add new services, people start doing things differently. Just make sure that they're performing, that you're addressing performance issues quickly, and that your people do still want to do what you've hired them to do. All right, so we've talked about your vision, we've talked about the people. I'm going to talk now about your data. And this is one of the most critical things to help move you toward reaching your goals. And when you're looking at your data, think if you were on a deserted island and you could get a report from your business and you were only going to get numbers each week, what data, what numbers would you need to know whether or not your business is thriving or dying? How do you objectively measure the health of your business? So, in order to move towards your 1 year, your 3 year, and your 10-year goals, you got to start paying attention to some of this data. And to do that, we're going to create a weekly scorecard. I have a template for this too, which I will share. On this scorecard, you're going to figure out what numbers matter. Is that number of phone calls that you get? Is that number of sales you close? Is that dollars in the checking account? And you're going to set goals for your data. Again, going back and referencing your 3-year, 10-year goals. Where do we need to be to make or like, what do we need our numbers to be to make our 1-year goal, to make our goal for the quarter? And you're going to have every person in your company, but primarily everyone on your leadership team is going to be responsible for keeping track of at least one number. So when you're having meetings with your leadership team, you're going to be reviewing this scorecard on a weekly basis. And everybody's going to be bringing numbers to the table. So it's not just you collecting the data. You want everybody on your team playing a role. Again, go back to your working business plan. As I said, look at your quarter 1 goal or your quarterly goal. Your quarterly goal is going to be 25% of your annual goal, which is going to be 33% of your 10-year goal. So what issues do you have? What do you want to track? And this is going to be part of your business plan. So let's say that your quarterly goal is to bring in $200,000. Okay, so where are you going to track? You're probably going to track weekly deposits. So if you need to bring in $200,000 for the quarter, divide that by 16. That's how much you're going to need, or divide by that by 12. Sorry, that's how much you're going to need to be bringing in on a weekly basis, and you're going to track that number. So here's an example of what the scorecard looks like. Again, I have a download here, and everybody in your company or on your leadership is going to be accountable for at least one number. So in this example I have here, we're tracking leads, we're tracking amount of business closed, we're tracking the number of websites we launch, we're tracking how much money we have in our savings account, we're tracking how many blog posts we're publishing on a weekly basis. And just looking at this, we can see where we have issues. I mean, it's quite clear. We want to get 3 qualified leads every week because we know it takes 2 sales to meet our close business goal, and we have a 66% close rate. We're going to want to launch 2 websites every week because we know that in order to meet our sales goals or our annual or our revenue goals, that's how much it costs, how much we need to be churning projects. We want to work up to a certain dollar amount in savings. And so we look at this, and every week we review this, and we can instantly identify issues. Hey, we have a cash flow problem. Hey, we have a problem with qualified leads, but actually our closed business is doing all right. We're on track with that. Or, we're going way far and above on the number of blog posts we want to be publishing. Maybe we need to look in at hone in on that service a little bit more, or maybe Heather needs some compensation for her diligent work. All right. And so with this scorecard, you're going to start to realize trends, and you're going to start to see your sales cycle. You're going to see slow and busy times of the year. For us, our fourth quarter is the biggest quarter of every year, and our scorecard very clearly indicates that. And so we know when things are really slow in quarter 1 that we're going to make up for it toward the end of the year. And you can put an action plan in place when numbers don't line up with your expectations. And the most important thing here is don't change your goal numbers. When you pick your goal numbers, you want to go back and you want to reference your goals for the quarter, for the year. If you're not meeting your goals, try to make changes in your process. What are you doing to hit those goals? So, we go back here, we're wanting 3 leads a week, but our leads are not hitting our goal. Well, let's not change our goal to make it more attainable. No, let's see what we need to do. Maybe we need to send out more marketing campaigns. Maybe we need to spend more on advertising. We're surely bringing in the closed business to make up for that. So what can we do to increase our leads to meet that goal number? And then we're going to take that scorecard and bring it down to the department. So you might have a sales department, you might have a marketing department, you might have a production department, you might have, an office management department, and you can have everybody in your whole company being responsible for a number and tracking data all the way down, so that you're really just keeping a track on, where your business is going. Again, if you are on a deserted island and you knew nothing except for a spreadsheet of numbers, what numbers do you need to know on a weekly basis to know that your business is healthy? All right, so we're running really short on time here because I like to talk. The last 3 are just processes, I'm not going to cover these in depth, but define core processes in your business and then break that down into department processes. And you're going to use your processes for everything, for onboarding, for creating services. Um, Most businesses will have 6 to 10 high level processes encompassing kind of the core parts of your business. Typically, that will be, what do you do with employees? How do you handle your marketing? You have a sales process, a process for production, a process for accounting, a process for customer service, a process for office management. All of these things can be documented and written down, and then you can break them into departmental processes where you can really get into the nitty gritty of it. Like our marketing process has our preferred vendors in it so that anybody who's ordering business cards knows exactly, the template, where the template lives for the business cards, where we go to order them. And just by having your processes in place, you're gonna see the ability to onboard much more quickly, and you're going to create sustainability, and you'll have the ability to scale your business. And then the next component in traction is issues. And this is one that is going to make a lot of that really impacted how we handle issues in our business. And typically, as a business owner, you have issues coming at you from all over the place. You've got 25 fires to put out, and you don't know how to tackle issues A before another issue comes up. And when this happens, you probably have an issues issue. And so we follow what's called the IDS principle for solving issues. I for identify, D for define, S for solve, where we're going to, on a weekly basis, identify all the issues that have come up, and then we rate them, which is most important. And we tackle that from the start to the finish. We have 1 hour every week devoted just to solving issues, and we don't move on from the most important issue until we have solved it. And following this format doesn't distract you from all of the little minute day-to-day issues, because you're going to have issues in your business. Things are going to come up. But this puts a template in place for you to actually systemically go through and solve issues. And then the final part of the entrepreneurial operating system is the traction. And this is just pulling it all together, holding weekly meetings where you review your data and you solve those issues, holding quarterly meetings to set your business goals, to revise and update your working business plan, and holding an annual meeting to review your processes, to look at your people, run them through that get it, want it capacity test, review your vision, and update your working business plan. And again, back to the 6 components of your business to master for growth. Implementing just a couple of these, even just implementing your vision and coming up with your growth plans and your quarterly goals, is going to lead you towards sustainable growth and long-term success. Thank you again for taking the time to listen to my talk today. You can find me online at my website, jessigurr.com. Again, my agency and all of the information today, as well as a copy of these slides, will be available at jessigurr.com/business summit. Thank you again for having me today, and I look forward to talking with all of you in the Q&A session.